All right. On my podcast today is a man who has fought the likes of Emmanuel Augustus, Kendall Holt, Eric Morales, Jose Armando Santa Cruz, and the great Manny Pacquiao. He is known as David Diaz.
Very well. How you doing, man? Thank you
And,
for having me on. I
and
appreciate it and
I
being patient with me.
yes, sir. No. Look. For those who don't know, I had to corner him. I
Another
had to
name you
pressure
forgot though
him.
before I before I go forward, another name you forgot to mention is my good friend that we fought, Jesus Chavez. Um,
That's true. That's true.
yes,
That's true.
very
That's true. I just
great
wanted to
friend of
name a
mine.
couple of them. We could get to that. We could get to that. We
That's
could get to
that's
that.
my guy though. That's my
Okay.
guy, and we he's a Chicagoan transplanted to Austin. Great guy, man.
Okay. So okay, tell me about that because a lot of times people think that all these guys that you all fight, there is actual animosity when you guys are fighting, and it's just fighting. Like there's actually nothing wrong. It's competition.
Competition is what it is. The only one that I can say maybe there's animosity is with Eric Morales. Other than that, every person I fought, not a problem. Not a
So
problem.
okay, what was the issue there with you and Eric Morales?
I don't know. He had a beef with me. He thought he won the fight, and I guess after a while, he still it's not as cordial as Hey, it's already it happened. It's part of the process. We win some, we lose some. He knows that as well, but it's still a thing that and maybe he's over it. But a few years ago, this was a few years ago that a friend of mine was like trying to get his autograph, and he said no. So, and then he's like, "That's why David Diaz beat you," and he's like, "Man, fuck that guy."
Nah.
It was hilarious. It was just, but like to me, it wasn't. It's part of it. We win, we lose, and sometimes we get knocked out, like I say.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, and for those who are listening, if you are unaware who David Diaz is, he fought at the championship level. The
Yeah.
championship level. Tell me
And
about that. How like did you know what point did you know that you were gonna be at the championship level? Do you know when it's coming? Can you feel
you
it?
want it.
Okay.
You want it. That's the best thing that you want to see yourself do is be on the in a championship fight, be in front of 100,000 people or 20, 30,000 people fighting for a championship belt or winning one or you know when did I see myself do that? I would have to say after my first intern championship fight, when we beat Jose Armando Santa Cruz for the interim championship, that's when I was like, okay, I can be here. I belong here. I belong with these fighters. That's when I started feeling good about myself. It it wasn't up until then that I was like, I can make it. I can go to those type of fights. I can be in those type of fights. But once I won that interim championship, I was like, yes, I belong here. I'm supposed to fight these guys. Um, but as a fighter, you always, if you don't have that mentality in you that you want to be in the championship rounds and the championship fights, I don't know. I don't know what to say, man. I don't know if
Yeah, you
you'll
got the
ever
wrong
get there.
sport.
Yeah,
You got the
it
wrong
is not.
sport because it's
No,
just you in that ring, man. And
and that's it.
if you haven't over prepared to a certain point, you are going to get the fight in the life beat out of you.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I don't. I, I've been of a since I was a workhorse in the gym. I was always working my ass off, always trying. I never could say you over prepare. I don't know because I could not um, be outworked, so to speak. Like I would do 15, 20 rounds on the bag, 10 rounds on the rope, and stuff like that to get me through the process of going through that war. So that's how I looked at my training, and
all
I
right,
feel that you should prepare.
question because I ask anybody that's a boxer that comes on my podcast this question, and I'm gonna ask you the same. Name your top five Mexican boxers of all time.
All time. Salvador Sanchez,
Yes.
Julio Cesar Chavez,
Yes.
Carlos Zarate,
Okay.
um, Ricardo Lopez,
Finito.
and Barrera. And
Okay.
Morales and Barrera right there, bro. Morales and Barrera right there. Even though before I fought Morales, um, I loved watching him fight, man. You know, he was an all action type fighter, and I think for me, that's how I have him.
Okay.
And the reason I have Carlos Zarate up there is because I met him at a later age, and I think he was just a great person. And seen some of his fights, and he was there.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because I hardly ever hear people mention Zarate.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. He was
as
a
yeah,
nice
tough
little
fight.
featherweight man,
Yeah,
boxer, good too. So those are my Mexican fighters.
yeah, yeah. I ask people that, and sometimes they said, "Oh, there's so many," and I go, "If there's so many, you should be able to throw out five."
It's
You know.
because yeah,
But you know
sometimes
what
they don't.
happened? You know what it is? You know what it is? I think what it is when you put people on the spot, they forget.
Yeah, they forget because there's also Pepino Cuevas, who was a great fighter as well too. But he had no business being in the welterweight division. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh, yeah.
so
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, man.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was bad. That
Yes,
was
sir.
bad. That Thomas Hearns fight. That was bad. I was
Yes,
like, oh
sir.
my god. Oh my god. Yeah. And some people, which I'm not surprised at, is they throw Oscar De La Hoya in there, who I think is one of the greats of all time as
Oh,
well.
I mean, yeah, yeah, but you said Mexican, so I
Yeah,
assume.
yeah. I said Mexican, but some people will go, he's
When
Mexican, but he's
but
Mexican
now
American.
you say Mexican American
Yeah,
stuff like that, and
yeah.
there's a little list
There's
there
a no,
too.
all
So.
there. I've heard it, man. I've gotten argued down. I've been in fights over that, man. Trust me.
Yeah,
I have Mexican friends, and there have been fights over this conversation.
yeah,
So I totally get it. There's Mexican and there's Mexican American. And I'll say
yeah,
this, man, from the times that I have been in Mexico and I've visited, and I've watched the guys over there fight, and the competition is going on. They support both sides, but they clap more for their own people, for their pride and
yeah,
country. And I
yeah,
totally salute that.
yeah, all the
But
time.
yeah, and I was like, well, like they fuck with everybody, but they know who they're really rooting for.
Yeah, oh yeah, they let it know.
Oh
They
yeah,
let you know.
oh
They let
yeah.
you know.
But it's not as crazy as when you're here in America and the crowd is like, it's like, whoa, what? Like we're all from America. Like you don't have to be that
Yeah.
fucking way, man. Like
No, yeah, here. Well, it just goes to show you when I fought in Chicago against Eric Morales, and I had more people room for Morales than they were me.
just
So
crazy.
yeah, dude,
It's
I
crazy.
understand.
It's
Yeah.
like people like they turn into like vicious rabid
Oh
animals, man,
yeah,
when
yeah.
it comes to that.
They
And
when they're like a Mexican born fighter comes here and stuff like that, it's like even the Mexicans here are like, nah, man, that's our guy. He
yeah,
kicked
like
him
if
over there. That's
yeah, like
it.
you're a Mexican, but you ain't a real Mexican. They just
Yeah,
say talk.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, you're an American Mexican. You
Yeah,
ain't
yeah,
Mexican.
you're watered down, man. Like
Uh,
no, 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 no,
and
no.
even my grammar school friend fucking was against me.
Jesus Christ, bro. And it was just crazy to see the love that like the teams that like when we were over there that they got to see the love that they got. I was like, okay, they not like totally gonna like
Kill you.
go. Yeah, like they're not gonna go crazy. Like they're gonna root for
Uh,
us, but they're also letting us know, yeah, y'all from where y'all from America, whatever. But this is our people and this is our country.
that's what we're going for, yeah.
That's who we going for. But
But
like,
there's I think there's some respect too that goes with it as
yes,
well. So
yes,
yeah,
and I understand it's a passion. It's a very deeply involved passion that comes with it. But
yeah,
here, man, when you're fighting, and it's like the Mexican American crowd is like, yo, Y'all are very vicious, man. When I was in Mexico, they didn't act like that, man.
Yeah.
Y'all are fucking vicious, dude. Like,
Yeah.
relax, my man. Relax.
Yep.
So yeah, yeah, definitely. So I asked you that, and people always have, um, they always have Eric Morales in there, and they always have Marco Antonio Barrera, in their top five of all time. Um,
Yep.
so my question to you as well: what did you think of Juan Manuel Marquez?
Juan Manuel Marquez was a great fighter.
Okay,
He was a great fighter.
okay,
Um, just Pacquiao had his number, bro. To be honest with you,
yeah, those are some grueling fights, man.
yeah, Pacquiao had his number about but he was a really, really great fighter. Um, and he ended up getting the last fight, right, where he knocked out
Yeah, Pacquiao. He knocked
Pacquiao.
Pacquiao
Yeah,
out. Yeah,
yeah, but you see the definition of his body and his fighting, his speed from previous fights.
yeah.
Like he looked so much bigger and faster and stronger for that last fight. So you know,
It was just crazy to see Pacquiao box at 147 for so many years to me.
and still be fast and he didn't have the pop he has before, but he was still speed.
Yeah,
He was still fast.
yeah.
He was still able to
Explode.
land those 20 punches per second.
Yeah, and that explosion, that thump, man, it was just like, God, like how was he carrying this up to 147? Because I was like, he drinking something.
You know, everybody says that he probably was. You
Ain't no
know,
telling. Ain't no
ain't
telling.
no
But
telling. Never was
if
caught.
yeah,
He was
if
never caught.
that part, because and
Can't.
that's what I always say. If he was not ever caught, that is one freak dude is a freak of nature, man.
Yes, exactly.
He's a
Freaking
fucking
nature.
freak of nature.
Freaking
Yeah,
nature.
absolutely. All right, so take me back. Take me back. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in the north side of Chicago. I actually, my family.
Boo! I just had to do that real
I
quick.
knew it. No,
Yeah.
we grew up on the north side of Chicago, and actually not too far from Wrigley Field, brother. We were over there by Irving Park and Sheridan Road, and I was born in that area. Then 5 years later, we moved up north a little bit to the Avondale area, and then my parents finally bought a house in Humboldt Park when I was about 12 years old. But I started boxing at 8 years old at Wells Park.
How did you get into boxing at 8?
My dad, my
Okay.
dad wanted me to box, but because I was a very I guess I probably had ADHD, but I wasn't diagnosed.
Mm-hmm.
Just like everybody else. I was a very active kid, always jumping around, always throwing punches and stuff. So my dad said, "Hey, let's take him boxing and something like that," because it was free. Soccer, baseball, and all that cost money, and being the youngest of nine, we didn't have enough money to put me in those type of sports.
Okay.
So I took up boxing and I fell in love with it at the age of 8. Went down there to spar the first time. First time I went to the gym, I told the coach, "Hey, I wanna box. I wanna join." He's like, "Okay." This is how they used to do it before. Get in the ring, see what you can do. I guess if I would have cried and got my ass whooped, he would have said, "Nah, this is not for you."
Yeah.
But I was able to withhold my own. I did not I did not beat the guy or anything like that, but I was able to throw punches back. And the coach liked that, so he's like, "I'll train you." And he did, and I was there for like about 2 years, 2 or 3 years, and then we ended up going to Hamlin Park, and that's where I made my bones in Hamlin Park.
Did you did any of your other siblings box?
My older brother boxed for a little bit, but he didn't stay with it. It was a mixture of no support on my parents' side, and him liking the streets a little bit too much,
Yeah.
back in those days. So and he even says it. It was lack of support and me. Um, going out there and just hanging out, drinking, and partying it up and stuff like that. So when I started it, I fell in love with it. I mean, going to work out every day, Monday through Saturday, and then over the weekends going to fights, or during the week getting fights at the Park District. Then I started advancing in
Mhm.
boxing, winning a lot of Chicago Park District championships, state titles, regionals, and then at the age of 15, well, funny story is that like when I was 14, I was able to participate in my first national tournament, which was in uh where was it at? Marquette,
Marquette
Michigan.
Park. Oh, Marquette,
No,
Michigan. Okay,
Marquette,
okay,
Michigan.
okay,
Went to the nationals out there. So,
okay.
and it was my first national tournament. So we went there with my coach at the time. His name is Danny Nieves, and he was a 21-year-old guy,
Mm,
and I was about 14, getting ready to turn 15, and it was my first national trip, man. So we went over there and we started seeing like a lot of college girls,
mm,
So we started goofing around and playing, just being kids from the city going out somewhere else, man. And I lost my first fight against Arturo Ramos, um, and he was the previous champion, who had won the nationals. So he beat me in the first round, and I had to stay there the whole week watching him win fight after fight after fight after fight.
burning you up.
Oh my God, man. It was just burning me. I was like, man, I should have beat this fool. That was my my thinking. And I seen him win the championship, the national title, and he got a nice jacket saying that he was national champ, you know. And I looked over to my coach and I told him, man, next year we're coming back and we're gonna win this. And that's what happened, man.
Yeah.
The next year we came back and we won it in North Dakota. We won. We became national junior Olympic champion, and I was able to represent the U.S. In Ireland. So we were able to. We won and we went to go fight in Ireland, and that was my first international trip. And at that time, I was like, man, it's cool to represent the U.S. right here, right now against Ireland.
hmm
Could you imagine if I did the Olympics, man? And
Crazy.
that's where everything started like getting good for me, like that fire started burning.
Yeah. You start
And
one more. I can do more. I can do more. I
yeah, I
can do
can do
more.
more if I'm able to do this here. But that was the creme de la creme of novice, like junior novice, junior open
Yeah.
tournament. I wasn't fighting grown men yet.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just beating up, kids my age.
Yeah.
Because the following year after that was my first year that I could enter the Chicago Golden Gloves. So back then when I was fighting in '92, you could fight as long as you were 15 years old, 16 years old. You could fight men as old as 35, 34, 34, 34, 32 years of age. So there was
hmm
no there was no in between like there is now, where if you're 16, you can't fight a guy who's like 22. You got to stay at the 18, 17 year, unless you're really good.
Yeah.
But we ended up trying out for the Golden Gloves and winning it. And we won the Chicago Golden Gloves. Oh, and a funny thing that in '92 when I won the first Chicago Golden Gloves, the Golden Gloves were being held at the Rosemont Horizon, which is
hmm
now the Allstate Arena,
Yes.
and that was the last year they did it. That year that I went, my first Chicago Golden Gloves
Yeah.
was the last year that they did it, and I
Wow.
was like, man, this is cool, man. Be fighting in a big arena like this, and I was able to fight there, and then later on down the road, things started going well for me, and ended up winning just Chicago. I mean, I won the Chicago Golden Gloves, but also that year I won the National Golden Gloves, and I was able to continue my amateur career and keep on going and winning more Golden Gloves. I was able to be four-time Chicago Golden Glove champion,
Mm.
and I won the National Golden Gloves three times.
Mm.
Three
How many
times.
people get to hear you say that?
I don't know.
Do you ever tell the story?
No, not much. I mean,
No.
only
Okay.
when asked. Only when asked. Only when in interviews, because my amateur career, to be honest with you, was pretty good. I really loved it. Oh, and let me get back to you. Remember that guy Arturo Ramos?
Yes.
Okay, that guy from San Antonio. So then, obviously, we became open fighters that year as well. That I won the National Golden Gloves. I was ranked like about fourth or fifth in the nation
Hmm.
at that time, and we went through the USA um, national tournament. So this is when all the amateurs that are trying to get on the USA team
Yeah.
go to that tournament. And needless to say, man, I met that guy again in the finals. I met him in the finals, and he beat me again.
He beat you again.
Yeah, that guy is the only guy in the amateurs that beat me twice. Beat me twice. And I was like, oh,
In
he had
your,
my number.
yeah. So okay,
He had my
right.
number.
But in your opinion,
At,
what
at
what
the
was
first
it?
one, the
What
first
was it?
one, the first one, I was like, man, they stole the fight.
Yeah.
The first I was like, they stole that fight. I was like pissed off. And then when I lost to him again in the in the championship,
Like fuck it, you got it. You got it.
you beat me the first time, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Do,
know,
do,
that's how it
do you
goes.
recall like what was it? Was it just his ability to just
We were
score?
very similar fighters, man.
Okay.
Very similar, identical fighters. So everybody that was there, they said, David, you won. They like, no, Arturo won. We were very similar. They said that, and I believe he was a southpaw as well too. And we were just identical fighters that we fought alike, and but he had my number,
Hmm.
and that's he beat me, man.
Some guys just can't even admit that part that another guy just has his number.
He beat me twice.
Yeah.
The first one I would have been like, all right, you know what? Maybe they did rob me. But hey,
The proof is there. Yeah.
the second time proves in the pudding, man. And
Yeah.
I think at that time, I think that the first time we fought, there was no electronic system that they do have now.
Yeah.
And the second time he beat me by
The electronic system didn't come into what, 96? Was that 96 or was it before?
no, it was 96 Olympics, but before that they were doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, they were doing
Okay.
that beforehand.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
the only one that didn't adapt to that, or I don't think still adapts to it, is the National Golden Gloves.
Okay.
I think they still do
Do
scorecard.
you keep up with the amateur circuit now?
To be honest with you, no.
Okay. And I'm only
I
asking because it's so watered down. It's bad.
Yeah, yeah,
Really bad.
and
It's bad.
it
It's like a group of guys who just say now who gets to go
yeah, and
wherever.
that's
And
that's not right. That's
yeah.
not right. It should be for merit of the hard work that they put in the gym, and then they come and execute it, and
They're
it
not
shows if it's not like that,
Dave,
it's
they're
bad.
not doing that. They're not doing that. They're
Yeah,
not
see,
doing
that's
that.
bad. That's bad.
It's basically like if I'm the number three guy, because I've seen this happen, even with me, if you're the number three guy, they'll pick a guy that's number 5 or 6 that someone else is just cool with, and they'll move him into that spot. You know what I mean?
To get to where they gotta go.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not as good as you,
Hmm.
but because of who he knows. You know what I mean? And he's not aware of that.
Right, of course.
He's
I
not
mean, but
necessarily aware that he just thinks that he's putting in the work. And it's like, well, if you go in here and spar me real quick, I'll show you.
it has to change from the top, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Mhm.
hopefully more people start speaking out and saying something about it, you know.
Well, you see that they took out the Olympics, boxing for the Olympics.
For
I don't know
two,
if you heard about that.
2028, right? 2028.
Yeah, something like that. 2028
Yeah.
is not going to be no more Olympics.
Yeah.
I mean, no boxing.
And also they really need to be more aggressive on a certain country who continues to abuse steroids. Like they really need to start paying attention to that and how they keep redoing their name and a bunch of other things too.
Wow. You know. We got to play by the books, right?
Yeah, well, when you can do what you want to do, I guess you will do it, right?
Yep, yep. And when it's allowed, and when it's not when there's no consequences, just like what we're going through in our city, when there's no freaking consequences to your actions,
Yeah,
that's what happens, man.
yeah, yeah.
That's what
Until
happens.
you start getting your wrist slapped or you start getting a spanking, you'll continue to do what you do.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, at what point do you say you want to go pro? Did you know that you wanted to go pro, or did you want to just say, all right, I'm gonna do all the amateurs and then I'm out of here. I'm not gonna do nothing
So
but
so
boxing.
once you so once I won the national Golden Gloves and I was number two in the country, then during my senior year in high school, I kind of fell off the path that I was going because hanging around having. I'm not gonna say I can't blame the people I hung around with because I was doing it. You understand what I'm saying,
Oh no, I get you. You don't have to tell
right?
me at all, man.
You know, I was doing it. So like at a young age, like from the time I was like 14, 15, my friends were going out partying. I wasn't, you know. I was at home working out and waiting to go work out, or I mean, go to a tournament the weekends. Every weekends we had a tournament going somewhere to go fight. So when I get to like my senior year, I'm like 17, 18 years old. I'm start hanging around my friends and we start partying and I'm not going to school. So um, I stopped just going to school, and I I confided in one of my best friends. Hey man, you know what? I had already gotten kicked out of school for truancy and stuff like that. So I had told them, and my dad had made me work during the summer because he found out I didn't graduate. So he made me pay rent and all this stuff. Went through the whole stuff, right? And I tell one of my best friends, who's my compadre right now, hey man, you know what? I'm gonna give up boxing, and and he goes, so what are you gonna do? And then I go, well, I'm gonna go back to school and I'm gonna, try to go to college and see what I could do. So when I mentioned college to him, he started laughing. He's like, man, are you serious? He's like, you're not for school, man.
Mm,
And he's like, and another thing, he's like, you've been boxing since you were young. And to
yes.
let just this go away for nothing, he's like, don't do that, man. So after that conversation with him, I ended up snapping back into it and getting back into doing what I had to do. When I talked to him, the Illinois State Boxing Championships were going on, and for that, I had to win the Illinois championship so I could move on to the regionals. I went. I had not trained in like 6, 7 months. I
Okay.
went and I weighed in, but I was like 6 pounds over, and I had to lose the weight in order to fight, and I did. But I felt drained and dizzy, and I
Woo.
didn't feel. Yeah, I didn't feel. I had to lose the weight in an hour.
In an
So
hour,
yeah, 6 pounds,
I would have
man.
walked off. I was like, I'm out.
Yeah, no, I did it, but
Wait, wait,
I
wait. 6 pounds in an hour.
in an
Dave,
hour
tell
in
me
an
what the hell you did in an hour.
plastics, albaline, hot shower, and running. Yeah,
So
spitting
the
and
Abilene helps with the water weight, right?
yes, sir, yes, sir. And then the plastics, the sauna suits,
Yeah.
those sauna suits. Yeah, yep.
Jesus, man.
Jumping rope in the
In the
in
suit.
the steam room, yeah, with the hot water on and jumping rope, running in place, doing jumping jacks, spitting, chewing gum, spitting, chewing gum, spitting.
It
Yeah,
just sounds like my
yeah,
stomach
it's
hurting right
torture.
now.
So yeah, so we did that at 7 o'clock in the morning. We were gonna fight at 2, I believe it was 2 o'clock. Fell asleep for a little bit. 8. I woke up. I didn't feel good, man. It just something told me, you know what? Don't fight. So I didn't fight. And I went back home and reevaluated myself and started working out for the Golden Gloves, which was the last tournament to try to get into the Olympic box office. And we were able to refocus and do everything that we had to do. Won the Chicago Golden Gloves. Ended up going to Cleveland, Ohio for the Chicago for the Golden Glove Championships. We won that, and then we were once you became a national champion, you were able to go and fight at the Olympic box office, which were in Oakland, and I was
What
able to
weight
go
is
there.
this? What weight is this?
139, 139, and we were able to win there, and we went over there and we fought, and ended up winning the whole tournament, and I was able to become an Olympian. I actually beat Zeb Judah in the Olympic box office twice.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then, we went to the Olympics. One of the best moments of my life. Experiences was phenomenal. Able to uh, have my family be there because it was Atlanta. And at that time, you're how can you say, not envious, but like greedy kid. Like I was like, man, I wish it would have been somewhere else, like somewhere exotic, like Athens,
Oh
Greece, so
yeah, yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
But at the time, again, as a kid, you
Spoiled.
don't. Yeah, spoiled. There we go, spoiled brat, right? Because at that time, my parents weren't residents in the U.S. They were
Okay.
still undocumented. My brothers as well, my brothers and sisters. Um, and they were actually able to go experience that with me, to be at the Olympics.
Oh, that's right, because you're the youngest.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. you know?
Oh shit, there's a story to that too then.
Yeah, man. And here's the other story too, is that my second oldest brother, who me and him had a great relationship, and he comes and he grabs me from behind because we're in the Olympic Village. And he grabs me from behind and he's like, man, thank you so much. And I'm like, for what? And he's like, man, he's like, I always wanted to come to the games. He goes, but I never in a million years thought I would see a family member in the games.
Wow.
So he's trying to get all mushy. And I'm like, man, get away from me,
Yeah. That
dude.
that
I'm,
that that
I'm
man
fighting.
shit.
I'm
Yeah.
fighting. I'm in
Yeah.
fight mode. I'm going to be fighting in like 2 days. I mean, you can't be talking to me like that.
Yeah.
But he ended up seeing me fight and win, and then I lost my second fight. But actually, he ended up passing a year and a half later.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, due to
My
AIDS.
condolences.
Yeah, yeah,
AIDS?
yeah, yeah,
Ah, shit, man.
yeah. He ended up passing from that, and you know, it was a bittersweet thing because he was a good person, man. Really
Yeah.
good family. He was actually the first family hero, because my parents immigrated, like I told you, and then they left him with four of my brothers and sisters, for him to take care of them for about a year and a half.
Okay.
It wasn't until later on that my other brothers and sisters came, and him and the oldest one did not come to the U.S. because they were studying their professions already. They were already deep into their. He was actually a high school teacher and a grammar school teacher,
Okay.
and he was a folklore dancer instructor. So he was already paving his own way over there, that he didn't need to come to the U.S. But
Okay.
it's part of it, part of life that we go through. But it wasn't like, back to get to when did I know pro? I knew after the Olympics that I wanted to go pro. But since I didn't medal, I didn't think I was gonna get any um, attraction
Deals.
from big,
Yeah.
yeah, from big promoters. I didn't think that. I was like, man, I didn't medal, so probably nobody's gonna, look out
No,
for me.
I think they know if you make it to the Olympics. I think certain ones know that if you get that far, there's something special about you. Not everyone pays attention to that because they don't
Right.
really know what talent really is. But
Mhm.
those who know, like, hey, if you made it that far, there's only a certain breed of person that can get. to that level, you know.
Oh, yep, and I take that, But then when I came back home, the phone didn't ring. The phone didn't ring until like about 2 months later.
Hmm.
2 months later, and then we got signed by Top Rank, Bob Arum.
Okay.
So that's when we knew we were gonna fight and start becoming pro. Then I ended up signing with the manager out of Florida. Their names were the Garretts, and ended up signing with them. And I actually moved down to South Beach,
Mhm.
Coral Gables for about a year and a half. Yes, I know. That's exactly what happened.
I'm not saying anything, man. I had a chance to go down there when I was young. I was a teenage. I was in my early 20s.
That's when I was down there,
Yeah,
20s, bro.
I was in my early 20s down
And
there.
they gave a young kid from Humboldt Park
It's
some money,
nice.
a car,
Yeah,
a place to live,
yeah.
and then I didn't have nobody down there telling me what to do. You
And
know?
it's just space and it's
Yeah,
nice looking
yeah,
things everywhere. Yeah,
all over the place, man.
yeah.
So got distracted. Then we ended up coming back to Chicago like 2 years later, and I actually hung him up. I didn't box for like about 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
So transition to that. What makes you stop boxing for 2 years?
Because I was having those issues of making weight at 139, and partying and you know I started off good with I think it was like one or two knockouts in the first three fights, three, four
Okay.
fights, and then after that it was more decisions and barely making weight and struggling to make weight, not eating for a day or two, you know, and then I was getting homesick. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna grab my stuff, get out of here, go back to Chicago, not fight. Either I get this all out of my system, partying and having a good time,
Yeah.
and
And the food
and
here is
then I
crazy
go,
too, man.
yeah, and then I just go back and go back home.
Yeah.
And if I decide to go back to boxing, at least I'll be more level headed and I'll know where I'm going.
Okay.
So I came back like in I think it was 99, 99. So from 99 to 2001, 2002, I partied my ass off.
Wow.
I, yeah, I
That's a
partied. And
long stretch, my man.
yeah, man, it was. It was. I think 20, 21. I did a one or two fights and stuff like that, but it was like long. It wasn't, but I wasn't really focused.
Did
And it
you put on
wasn't
a lot
until
of did you blow up big?
yeah, yeah. I got up to about 190,
Woo!
200. Yeah.
You was big as shit, man.
Like I am now. Right now, I'm walking around 190.
Yeah, but you don't have to worry about that now.
No, I don't.
You don't have to worry about it. For those who
No,
don't
no,
know,
sir. Don't have to worry about it.
for those who aren't aware, David Diaz owns a real estate company called Main Event Real Estate. So he's
Mhm.
okay. He let that go. He's all right. No more punches, no more
Right.
diets, no more
No.
no more fasting, intermittent fasting, none of that running 6 miles in the morning at 4:30
No.
a.m. None of that, man. So he's enjoying living life and kids and being able to eat.
I think I retired in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, since 2011, maybe I might have ran maybe like 4 or 5 times, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
since retirement. So I still figured since I started working out religiously since I was 8 years old, up until 2011, I was like, my body's still able to still maintain that level of athleticism,
Yeah. No,
right?
no. And now you're at a point where you've done all that. So
Oh yeah,
you turned the chapter on that.
yes sir.
And so okay, Arturo Ramos.
Right.
Did you ever have a fight with him in the pros?
No, 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 no. We never
Did
fought
he
in the
ever
pro.
turn pro?
He did turn pro, but he
Okay.
didn't. He didn't take it any farther. I think maybe he had like about 11 fights. I'm actually friends with him on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, but we haven't discussed him beating me twice.
Yeah, because that's what I wanted to know. I'm like, hey, did you ever settle that debt
Nah,
once you turn pro? Yeah.
nah, he doesn't bring it up or anything like that, so I just leave it alone.
Yeah, because some guys, you remember certain guys that that had your number when you're in the amateurs and you want to get them
Yeah,
back.
yeah, no, well, like I said, with him, he's the only guy in the amateurs that beat me twice,
Okay.
and I never lost to anybody twice like I've had with him. So you know,
Okay. So in high school, so you were going to high school and doing boxing.
correct.
Did your parents ever just say, "Hey, we're just gonna pull him out and have him like homeschooled at some
My
point"?
no, no, no. My parents couldn't do that. My mother, she only had. I think she only went to first grade in school in Mexico. My dad never went to school, and my mom actually taught my dad how to write his name. So my dad was he couldn't read,
Okay.
but he was my hero though. Yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah, he would be
Yeah.
mine too. To pull off the miracles that he did to have us here. Hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
Hell
sir.
yeah. You salute a person like that, man.
Yes, sir.
And,
Yes, sir.
and real shit, David, they should be very proud. They should be very
Oh,
proud of you.
they were. My dad was. My mom was.
They
Yeah,
should
they
be
were. They
very
were.
proud.
They were there. I felt it, and they told me, so I'm okay.
Good.
My both of my parents are gone. My dad, my mom died about, uh, man, my goodness, almost 11, 12 years. 12 years.
My,
My
my
mom died.
condolences to moms,
Yeah,
to the OG.
thank you. And then my dad, he just made a year. He died last year.
Okay. Okay. My
Yeah.
mom is 2 months. She died in
Oh,
June.
oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
My dad was July 28th. My mom was June 27th, I think.
It's crazy, man. It's a crazy feeling, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
a
it
piece
is.
of you just got snatched, like just got ripped out of there.
Yep,
You
yep,
know?
yep. It's a thing that you see all the time that man, I wonder how these people are without their parents. And then you get to that level where you're at that place where you're missing your parents and you
Yeah.
don't have them. And then now I start thinking about my kids, man. How are they going to be? How am I going to leave them off?
Yeah.
You know, I hope
Yeah.
I leave them off well and where they're good, strong-minded boys or men that do well
Yes.
in this life. That's
Yes.
it. That's all
And
I
that's
want.
it. That's it. That's it. You lead them with integrity, dignity, purpose, morals, and values, and then they'll
Yes,
go
sir.
on and do the
Yes,
right
sir.
thing.
And respect. There has to be
Yes.
respect in
Yes.
there.
Respect above all. Respect is
Yep.
number one. Because if there
Hmm.
is no respect, the rest of that shit won't last.
They won't follow suit. They won't follow suit.
Absolutely, Dave.
No.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you get up to the Emmanuel Augustus fight, what are you thinking? Because this dude
Man,
is different.
this guy's gonna be fucking around, man. I'm gonna get frustrated. I'm gonna kick him. My respects to Manuel Augustus, rest in
Yeah.
peace, man.
Yeah. Awesome
But
guy.
to my surprise, he did not do any of that with me, which was shocking. And we and that there goes another stepping stone that you're like, okay, I was able to beat this guy who's the gatekeeper to the 135 division. If I could beat him, we can go places. And we did. We beat him. I believe after that, I fought Ernest Julio, who was a ex world champion, and we beat him as well.
Okay.
So all those little, not little, I'm not gonna, those steps that I fought in my boxing career are the ones that helped me get more confident
Yeah. Because those are
as
the
I kept on going.
buildups. Yeah.
Yes,
Those are
it's
the
all buildup.
buildups. Yeah.
It's all buildups. It's all buildups to get to that, to get to where we got.
Yeah. Because I was looking, I was like, okay, if if he beats Augustus, that means they're gonna start throwing more guys in front of him.
Yeah.
And it's gonna get harder at that point. And then that's when they're gonna see if you can either step up or you're gonna step back.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yep. And we were blessed that I had a great corner with me all the time. Great guys that motivated me to get well to where I needed to get. Um, Jim Strickland, Sam Colonna, and Mike Garcia were my corner guys, and Kevin Cunningham was
Kevin
a little
Cunningham,
bit, yeah. Kevin
awesome
Cunningham
guy.
trained me for Morales, and we ended up winning there. And that's how it goes.
Yeah. Um, what was I gonna ask you? Going into that Morales fight, were you like, did you know that you had that feeling like, yo, I know what he's gonna do, but I can get him?
I felt I could beat him.
Yeah,
I felt that, especially fighting in my hometown in
yeah,
Chicago at the Rosemont. I mean,
yeah.
he
And
just,
you had a pressure style
yeah,
as
yeah.
a southpaw.
As a softball, yeah, yeah, I had that pressure style, and a lot of people don't know, but I'm actually. Well, what happened here?
You good? I'm still here.
Okay, um, uh, I'm actually a right-handed person. I don't write with my left.
Okay,
I ended up when I first started boxing. The coach at Wells Park told me, he's like, "How do you feel more comfortable, like this or like this?" I'm like this. So he started training me like that, and it stuck.
okay. Well, I
So
mean,
that's how,
Miguel
yeah,
Cotto was left-handed. Oscar De La Hoya was
yeah.
left-handed.
And they
Yeah,
ended up fighting Orthodox.
yeah,
So that's how it goes.
yeah.
But yeah, I felt confident in that fight as well, that we were gonna beat Morales in Chicago. So we knew what we had to do is just put it that pressure.
Your training regimen, do you ramp it up going into a fight
Oh
like that
yeah,
against guys who are
yes,
like,
you have to. So see, for that fight we ended up going to Colorado Springs.
uh-oh,
Yeah, for
that's where
for
you
that
mean
fight.
business. Yeah.
Yeah, we went up there and we fought and came back prepared and ready to go. And that's how we ended up winning. The determination and um, our workouts helped us prepare ourselves for that. For
Okay.
that.
Do you pay attention to that weight division now, or do you like just totally just everything is just family?
I've been out. I've been out. I've been more of a baseball dad now, and watching my kids play baseball. I've been blessed that both of my boys are very talented in that sport. I have a 17-year-old that's a left-handed pitcher and an outfielder, and then my 15-year-old boy is a catcher, plays second and third base.
Okay.
And actually, my middle kid was able to go to the Field of Dreams this past. Uh,
A couple weeks ago, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, we were down there because he plays for the Cubs organization. Um, they have like the junior Cubs play against the Cincinnati Reds,
Okay.
and they televised it as well. And he did actually pretty good. He went, I think he went 3 for 4, and he was really good behind the plate.
Do they have any idea of who their father is? It sounds like you. It sounds like you
He,
you don't even bring it up.
no, I don't. But sometimes I just tell them that I will whoop their ass at their age. I just I'm like, dude, don't even. My middle kid is the one that likes to flex the most, but. Uh,
Of course, the middle
I,
child.
man, I'll beat your ass, man. This is just one of those things. But they know that I have fought before. They see me because there's times where we work together. People come up to me and want to take a picture or have me sign an autograph and stuff like that. And they'll be the ones that be like, you know who your father is, and
Yeah.
they tell them, and then they just nod their head and stuff like that. But I try to show my kids humility,
Okay.
be
Okay.
humble. Good things happen when you're humble, respectful. and you behave the proper way. Look at you. Look at this situation right now. I mean, if I
Don't
was
try to
an
put it down. Don't
asshole,
don't don't try to reverse
no.
it, man. Don't try to
If I was an
reverse it.
asshole, if you would have heard that I was an asshole, would you have reached out?
I still would have reached out
Yeah.
because I'm not worried about you being an asshole. I see you sooner or later in Chicago. I see you. I
But
see you.
yeah, but yeah, that's how it is. And mostly, I I watched the Andy Reese fight this past week,
Yeah.
Sunday, yesterday.
Sunday. Yeah. Sunday, a couple days ago.
Yeah, you know, I watched it, and do I miss it? Nah, I
I can
don't.
tell you don't miss it. I can
I
tell.
don't.
I
I
can.
don't
I
miss
feel
it.
like Dave. I feel like you're at peace. Like you're past that.
Oh yeah, I am at peace, man. I've always said that if when I retire, I wanted to be done for sure. I was done. I didn't want to be the guy that everybody's embarrassed to be around, where he can't communicate well, or has trouble um, putting sentences together.
Which you have
Not
no problem doing.
Yeah, no, right now I don't. Right now I don't. Who knows down the road, right?
I think you'll be all right. I don't think
Yeah,
you.
yeah, I
I
hope
think
so.
you'll be all right.
So I just, and also I didn't want to be a burden to my wife and my kids, down the road. So we knew it was time. After my last fight that I fought with Hank Lundy on ESPN,
Yeah.
he knocked me out, and my wife took a picture of it, and I was down there thinking, in the dressing room, out as a fighter, as a guy who's always up for the competition. Since he knocked me out in almost my backyard, which was at the casino here by Indiana, um, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna ask for a rematch. I'm gonna ask for a rematch, and I'm gonna go fight him in his hometown of Philadelphia, and I'm gonna beat his ass. And I'm gonna knock his ass out. And then I said, okay, since we fought on a Friday, I was like, the Monday we got to get back to working out. That's where my body and everything said, oh, hold it.
Give
I
us some
think we're
time.
done, baby. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think we're done.
Okay.
So that was my mentality. Yeah, I said, forget this, man. Fuck it. I'm done.
Yeah, because you just slid right on out. You was like, yeah, I'm out, man.
Yeah, and I did it. And what happened was that I didn't tell nobody. I didn't tell nobody what my thought was.
Okay.
But um, fast forward of like 4 or 5 months of not doing nothing, not working out, not doing anything, I told my wife, hey, you know what? I'm gonna retire. And
Did you feel it at any time before the Lundy fight? Did you
no,
think or
no,
know it?
no, no,
No?
no, no,
Okay.
no,
So
no,
you
no.
was always all in.
All in. Oh no, for every fight I take, bro, every fight I took it as me winning. They told me not to take that Hank Lundy fight.
Really?
They're like, man, that's a young cat, man. That's a young guy. I'm
Okay.
like, what's the fucking point?
Yeah, he had like 17 fights or something like that.
Yeah, and I think like 14 knockouts or some shit like
Yeah.
that. Something like that. But there was what, like I always said this, what's the point of us being fighters if we're not gonna take on the challenge?
Because that's what it's all about anyway, right?
That's what it's all about, to see who's the best. So I went up there and I was like, man, if this young kid really has it, he's gonna fuck me up, call it a day. Like
It,
beat me. I didn't say call it a day like I'm gonna retire. I said if he beats me, he beats me. I know where I stand.
if you don't, he gonna get
And then he
ran
gave me a
down.
rude awakening, because he did. Because I had his ass out.
Yeah.
If you go back to that fight, man, I dropped him, and I just couldn't finish him, bro. I couldn't finish him. I couldn't. I got too over anxious, and I didn't set up my punches right. I thought the ref was gonna come in because he was on the ropes, but he didn't. And then he ended up headbutting me, and it's what it happens, bro.
Yeah.
And I got knocked out. Just put it like that.
Yeah.
And that's how the fight ended. And that's when I knew it was time. It was time to let go.
Growing up in the amateurs or in the pro circuit, do you remember there being any boxers who never really got the chance to really shine?
I one comes up to me that because I don't know if I don't know if it was the limelight that scared him or what,
Hmm.
but he was smooth. He was so good sparring, man. Just that when he wasn't a big puncher, but he was very smooth. That I would think, why isn't he a world champ? Because like to me, he was fast.
Hmm.
You know, his name was Jermaine Sanders. You know,
Okay.
Southside.
Yeah.
Ooh, oh my smooth Jermaine Silky Sanders. Silk, bro.
Yeah.
Silk. He just silk, bro.
Yeah.
The man was awesome. Put a couple of butt whoopings at me in sparring.
Yeah. And I asked that because everyone knows at least one or two guys
Yeah.
that would have been great as pros,
For
but they
me,
ne-
for me, for me, that's the guy
yeah.
that I would sometimes sit down and think, like, man, what's keeping you from becoming so great
Yeah.
or becoming that champ?
Yeah.
What's keeping you? Is there something outside of this gym that I don't see, obviously, that's bothering you, or something's not letting you move forward, or what it was? But for me, he was the guy that I thought should have been up there with the Whitakers and stuff like that.
Mm.
He was smooth, bro. He was smooth.
So you transition, right? Boom. You say
Hmm.
2011, your
Yeah.
wife, I'm done. This is it. You don't even have to worry about me coming back here no more. I'm done with this boxing shit.
Mhm.
I'm moving on. What made you pick up real estate?
I didn't pick up real estate until like about 3 years after. Yeah, wait, we're in 2002. Yeah, like about I'm gonna say 2014, 15. It took me like
Okay.
3, 4 years to after 2011 because I ended up doing a boxing program with uh, Cicero, Illinois, which is right outside Chicago.
Yeah, that's where they were having the golden gloves and
Yeah.
yeah,
So I was able to do a boxing program with them, and I was doing well. It wasn't a big paycheck or anything like that, but it was just something that I like doing.
yeah.
But the thing was that during the day I would be drinking, not
Ah,
doing nothing. Yeah, yeah. So then my wife would be like, "Hey, this is not productive. You're not doing. Why don't you take up real estate? And try to do that." And I took up real estate. Ended up finding a love, a passion for it, and now, fast forward, we have our own real estate company.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Was she involved in real estate?
Oh yeah, she was involved in real estate when we got married about in 2003. She had her license and stuff like that. She
Mm.
actually let it go after we started having our kids, and then boxing started going really well for me. So she was able to not, do anything, and then um, it wasn't until like about I think she like 2 years before I retired, she started picking up her real estate license again. She's like, "Hey, I want to do real estate." I'm like, "All right, cool, go ahead." And she picked it up, and then when I retired, 3 years later, she's like, "Hey, man, you drinking and being here like this is not good for you. Why don't you find something to do? Purpose again, Because you always, I like as me as a fighter, all you think is that that's the only thing you're good for was fighting and training, you know.
Mhm.
So I was able to transition myself good into the real estate world.
So is it commercial, residential, both?
I'm actually this year I'm actually leaning towards more commercial.
Okay.
I have two properties that I have listed in for that are commercial. One's a property in Cicero. So if any mechanics out there that want to start their own mechanic shop, give me a holler. But because I have a great property on Cermak Avenue, the gentleman's has had that building for about 20 years, and it's a mechanic shop. Comes with everything, So
Oh, so
me and him,
it's already
it's already
it has
established.
okay.
Clientele, everything. All you have to do is obviously bring the money, 675K, and because it's the whole prop, it's like 4 city lots. It's a
Four
big,
city lots.
yeah,
Wow.
4 city lots in Cicero,
Okay.
on Cermak Road, and and it comes with the equipment, the diagnostic machines and all that stuff, lifts. All you have to do is bring in your workers and some tools. Call it a day.
Okay.
Yeah. And now my wife is the one that does more residential real estate, and I help out as well with the residential. I've done that, and that's where we're going towards right now.
Do your clients know that you're a boxer?
Yeah, some do, some
Yeah.
do.
Because
Yeah,
I'm looking at the look. I'm like, if you
yeah,
didn't know that, you would look at him and go, man, look at this
yeah. A little short Mexican, you know.
guy.
But no, some do, some don't. Some, they'll like the funny thing is like I'll go show a house, and when my clients don't know who I am, sometimes the people that are living there recognize me and they'll be like, "Hey, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yes, it's me," and I shake their hand, and that's when we step outside. And they're like, "You used to be a boxer?" I was like, "Yeah, many moons ago," and then we just kick it off like that.
Who was the hardest person? Who hit you the hardest? What was the hardest punch you got hit by?
Jaime Rangel. It's a Colombian cat.
That was
He,
a couple fights after Augustus, right?
I believe so. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
He hit me. He hit me really hard that I was like shook to my core.
Okay.
We ended up beating him, but yeah, he was the guy that I that night and a couple of nights before I told my wife, man, my body hurts, everything.
Mm.
Oh yeah, I felt. I didn't even party that day. I didn't even party.
Oh my God, he made you consider your whole life, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Shit, man.
Beat him, but and this man was a fucking like solid muscles, everything, bro. And he just
So, and
you know
that
how
so
sometimes you look at people that got muscles and stuff like that, and you're like, ah, these motherfuckers can't hit.
yeah,
This one could hit.
this one good hit. And
Yeah,
I think that's the other part that people don't actually get. Like when you go in the ring, the guy looks one way before. And then when you get in the ring with him, he looks like a totally different guy, man.
totally different,
Like
totally
he
different.
filled out, you know what I mean? All the muscles are popping out all over his
Yeah,
face. His shoulders and back has gotten bigger and everything. You're like, where the fuck
and
this
that
guy
was
come
him.
from?
That was him at the weigh-in. That he was like just jacked up, bro. That I was like, holy, how the hell is this man 135?
Right,
And I'm
right.
over here fucking drained as hell, at 135, so,
And then you get in the
but
ring and he looked even worse.
yeah, man. Then the thing is that he ended up matching those muscles with his hits.
Shh.
So then that was even worse. I was like, oh. So, but like, and that's one thing that I always told people. Like, I knew I was in the business of either hurting or getting hurt.
It's
There
the
was
hurt
no ifs,
game.
ands, or buts about it. I
Yeah.
knew what I was getting myself into it, but I ended up enjoying it and loving it for a very long time. I loved it. It was just something that I didn't see myself if I could have kept my speed and been able to control my weight, I would have kept on fighting, man. But I know I couldn't. I was slower. And I also lost to Humberto Soto,
Yeah.
a Cobrita. I lost to him in a title fight, and when I lost to him, I also was contemplating retiring because when I fought him, there was some moments that I caught myself like, okay, I'm gonna go hit him, and I was like, oh, okay, no,
You
I
missed the
don't.
moment.
Yeah,
You missed the
yeah,
gap.
yeah, I missed it. So then, one time I was like, man, maybe it's time,
Yeah.
maybe it's time. But then I kept at it, won another fight, won that fight, and then we ended up fighting Hank Lundy, and then Hank Lundy told me, no, you need to retire.
The Pacquiao fight, was that the fastest you ever seen anybody move?
Oh yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I fought plenty of fast guys, man.
Yeah.
Zab Judah being one of them. Um, and
You didn't
and
fight Jab in the pros though, did you?
no, we never got
Okay.
to fight in
Okay.
pros. We never got to fight in pros. And it's part of it. Like I always tell everybody, man, I took that fight knowing that I was going to win. Knowing that there was no way a guy from 130 was going to come up and beat me.
Hmm.
I didn't expect to get knocked out. To be honest with you, I didn't expect it.
Okay. That was you guys clashed, man. I was just like,
Yeah,
holy fuck.
yeah, it was a beat down. I mean, we like I told you, man. I went there wholeheartedly thinking, man, this guy can't be that fast, bro. It can't be that fast. You'll
Shit.
hear me in the second round. In the second round, my coach tells me, man, he's like, hey, you're getting hit a lot. He's like, the punches hurt. I'm like, nah, they don't hurt, but they're just too many. So fast.
And that's how he got it.
That's how he got it.
Overwhelming people with punches.
Yep. No.
Yeah. None of your kids ever wanted to box.
I actually did take my middle kid to box into the gym, and he did very well. He sparred very good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but my kids wanted to just fight and didn't want to do the workouts. I'm like, that's not how you do it, dude. That's not how you do it. Because I took them, I did the approach that how I did when I was young. I was like, all right, let's go. I didn't train them here at home or nothing like that. Maybe a little bit shown how to just throw a little punch here or two. But I didn't say, hey, this is what you got to do anytime. So when I took them to the gym to go spar, they ended up sparring. The oldest one liked it. He was good. He would if he would have stayed boxing, he would have been a boxer, like a smooth boxer, because he was fast.
Okay.
My middle kid came out just like me, a bull, just
Aggressive. Yeah.
yeah, just going out there. But again, it comes back to me understanding that boxing is not to be played with. You have to work your ass off, work
Absolutely.
out to be able to perform and do a fight. If not, you're gonna get hurt.
Yes, indeed.
You know,
Yes,
so
indeed.
but they didn't want to do that, so they didn't want to work out. So I would have them in the gym and I'd be like, hey, you gotta do the footwork. You gotta learn how to walk. You gotta jump rope. You gotta nah, I just want to spar. I was like, it's not gonna work out like that, man. You're
Mm-mm.
gonna find a cat that's gonna be able to beat your butt. Why? Because he's working out.
Yeah.
So my middle kid ended up doing it like he sparred one day at my gym, the second day at another guy's gym, and then he came back to my gym and sparred one more time. Then after that, I told him, hey, because I would tell him, hey, let's work out properly the way it's supposed to be. He would give me a hard time. And I had other kids there, so I was like, man, listen, man, just go do what you want to do.
Yeah.
So then um, on Monday, I would say, hey, you want to go work out? He's like, nah, I'm okay. Never
Yeah,
asked.
man. It's a lot that goes with boxing. Drills, techniques.
Man, there's discipline, sacrifice, and discipline again, man. If you're not disciplined to do anything, you're not gonna make it.
Yeah, most people can't sit and throw a hook for 30 minutes and
Mm.
understand why they're throwing the same punch over and over again.
And it's not the same punch that they throw over and over. And that's what I try to tell these people, that if you drop your elbow a little bit, it's not going to be the same effect as when you have it nice and on an
Tight.
angle like,
Yeah.
yeah. If you drop it a little bit like this, you're going to be hitting with your pinky and you're going to
You
break your
don't want
hand.
that. Yeah, you don't want that. That ain't what you want.
And
You
that's
want to
what
hear.
yes, that's what they don't understand. And you have to practice that all the time. And we can go back and say, you know what? Yeah, but he fights good. Yeah, but how long is he gonna last? 1 minute he might be great. What about when it comes to 2 minutes to 3 minutes? If you're not doing that work, you're gonna be gassed by the second round. That's
Can
it.
you do it when you're tired?
That's it. That's
And
it.
when are you tired? Do you know when
Mhm,
you're tired?
mhm.
Even that. What is your gas tank like?
You got to know these things in order for you to be able to do that fight.
Do you know how to
Yeah.
hide in the ring without looking like you're buying
Dead
time?
tired.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
there's
a
a lot of
lot.
things. Yeah, there's a lot of things that these guys, and that's what, in a nutshell, that's what my kid was. My
Yeah.
kids, they just wanted to fight, and I was like, nah, it's not gonna work that way. You got to be disciplined, and they actually took up other sports after my me telling them about boxing. They're like, okay, we're gonna do taekwondo, and they did pretty well for taekwondo. Again, my oldest won state in Illinois for taekwondo, and my middle guy second place. They went to the nationals, ended up losing in the third round, both of them. So
Okay.
you
Okay.
know, so they've always been active. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, they ended up baseball.
Okay.
They just because we had them in baseball when they were young. Then they're like, we don't want to do it. We switched them over to taekwondo, then soccer. They didn't like that, so then they ended up going back to baseball and been there ever since.
Okay. Are there any fights in boxing that you really want to see as far because I know you're not totally involved, but just on a surface level, are there any fighters that you want to really see fight?
I would like to see Crawford and Spence.
Oh.
That's a fight worth seeing. I think that
Will
would
you
be a great fight.
do you have a pick for that fight?
I like Crawford.
You like Crawford. Okay.
Yeah, I like Crawford.
He
Just
has
that
ties to this city too.
not only, yeah, he's got ties to the city. Um, what's his name? General Mendez. He's up by Highland Park over there.
Okay.
That they're real tight with Crawford,
Okay.
and he's like, yeah. So he goes to his fights all the time. But
Okay.
yeah, I would like to see that Crawford and Spence. That would be
Ah,
a great fight, man.
I want to see that fight so
That
bad.
would be a nice money maker for both of them, and they should
Yeah.
get paid. Not like, nah, just leave it alone.
No, see, speak your mind because I want to know.
Like that YouTuber, is taking up all the bread. Yeah,
But
exactly.
you know what? He
And
was.
you don't knock his game, man. And I
I'm
get
not
it. But
knocking it.
don't,
All I'm saying is that he was able to use what he had to make
yeah,
himself.
that's what his game. That was his game. That's his brand, and he did it.
And what he did was what a guy like Bud Crawford can't do. Like
Right.
he has this big following and this big engagement that he was able to sell that to people and make money off of it. And
Yeah.
you would like to see that from an Arrow. You would like to see that for guys like Errol Spence and Devin Haney and all these other guys. But some people just have it that way. Like they're
Yeah.
better at that part of it than they are at being in the gym and putting in the work and doing what you need to do to get to the next level. So it just is
Yes.
what it is, man. Like,
That's how it is. That's the times we living
yeah, yeah.
in.
I would like to see him fight some actual fighters.
He's not. There's no.
Yeah,
There's no point.
yeah. I
Then it all
know.
goes away. A 10-0 fighter, a real good 10-0 fighter will beat him.
Not just beat him
Like
either.
less. Hmm?
Not just beat him. They won't just beat him. A 10-0 fighter won't just beat him.
Yeah. So
Jared
be.
Jared Anderson will put him in a coma.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if you've seen Jared Anderson fight, but Jared
No,
Anderson,
who's that?
uh, he's 6'4", 240 pounds, and he's 12-0 with 12 knockouts, I think.
But isn't this guy like fighting at 190 or something? Or is he 200?
I don't know. I don't know,
No,
but
I think he's at
I know
190.
somebody
He's at
at
190
190.
because even my guy Kendall Gill,
Okay.
Kendall Gill from
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Bulls.
from the Bulls, yeah.
Yeah, he's a fighter. He can fight.
Yeah. I seen him do some
And he
MMA
asked
too.
him, he asked him, hey man, let's go. Let's get it. But he knows that Kendall knows how to fight.
Yeah, he's not gonna fight nobody that know how to put
No,
in work.
he's not. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
No, so it's a hustle.
It's a
It's a
hustle.
hustle.
They got a good hustle going.
Yeah,
So
they do.
can't be mad at it.
Yeah. Anytime you can corner the market with a hustle, take advantage of it. And he's doing that.
Yes, sir.
But I know some guys that would get in there with him at 190. I know some guys that'll get in there with him. And,
Yeah.
and, and he
Oh
won't
yeah.
he won't like the outcome.
Oh no, he because yeah, it, he'll lose. He'll lose.
You don't know what pain is. You don't know what real pain is,
Nah,
man.
it's what it is, bro.
Yeah, it is. It is. Is that the only fight that you want to see?
Right now, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
that's a good fight.
Okay.
That's a definitely a pay-per-view fight.
Yeah. Oh, what?
Their styles are would be very, very good, very compatible. I think
Okay,
styles
let me
wise.
ask you this. Does Errol Spence fight like a Mexican to you in a come forward style?
In a come forward style, yes. If you're saying they're coming forward and pressuring their fighters, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But T Bud is more of a boxer puncher for me.
Mm-hmm.
Boxer puncher where he can box but then he lets him and rips to the body and does real well. That's why I think it'll be a good fight. It'll be a good fight.
Yeah, I think it'll be a great fight. I feel like it'll be Leonard Hearns or Hagler Hearns. It'll be like one of those.
I think more Leonard.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leonard
Yeah.
Hearns. Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, the only thing about Bud is he don't mind putting his face out there to draw you in. And if he does
And
that
that's
with
dangerous with Spence.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, but
yeah,
I don't think I think he's smart enough to with that. He knows he's fighting a guy who has the power
yeah.
to sit his ass down. So I don't think that will be a thing that Bud would do.
Yeah. And I think Arrow is more of a volume guy. Like you don't see him just he has given guys like knock guys out with one punch here and there, but you don't see him do it a lot. Like it's usually just volume, the attrition
Mhm.
of breaking you down. You've seen Bud even with guys who are of a lesser status, like he gets them out. Like they're not supposed to be in there with him, he just gets them out of there.
Mhm.
You know, so that would be a really great fight to see. I'm looking forward to that. I hope they announce that fight
I hope they
sometime
make
soon.
it. I hope they
Yeah,
make it. Yep, yep, that would be a
absolutely.
great fight.
What do you think of us? Because this is one of my favorite guys, David Benavidez. Have you got a chance to look at him?
I've seen a couple of fights of his.
Okay.
He's no joke.
I like that guy, man.
Yeah, man, he's got good range,
Yeah.
tall,
Oh, yes.
tall.
Yeah.
You
Works
know?
behind his jab.
Yes, yes.
Oh man.
He will give Canelo.
Come on, talk. Come on, man. Say it.
He will give Canelo a run for
Say
his
it.
money. And
Come on, Dave.
I don't
Say
think
it.
Canelo wants that.
Nah.
I
Talk,
don't
talk,
think
talk,
Canelo wants that.
talk that shit.
Canelo doesn't want that. He
Uh,
knows that. He knows that's a problem. He see I for me I think it was I'm gonna take on Bivol and see how I because if you see they're almost the same stature, right? With Bivol and Benavides, right?
yeah.
And lanky and tall. I mean I and he didn't do nothing to uh yeah, right,
Canelo.
Bivol. That's it.
Bivol. The only thing about Bivol is had he been a more aggressive fighter,
He would
he
have
would.
knocked him out.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
He would have knocked him out.
Thank you very much. Yep.
He would have knocked him out,
Yep.
and that's what he didn't show. But he
Yep.
would have definitely knocked him out.
Bivol is a beautiful boxer. He has educated feet, and he does well with boxing. He's very good at boxing. Had that been better Biev or had that been David Benavidez, they would have pushed him back and beat him through the ropes.
And try to go for that KO.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think I don't know. You know how it is on nowadays. Everybody has speculation. You think that's another payday maybe down the road, and they don't want to mess him up that bad. So it's you know it's how it is now, man. It's like nobody goes out there to see who really is the best of the
But and the
best.
other part is the promoters who don't want their guys to go out there and get beat up. So
Yeah, that's true. That's
yeah,
true.
yeah. David, man, I appreciate you doing this with me. I'm man, this is I love it. I appreciate you giving me your time and energy, man, and open up the opportunity for me to do this. I'm not gonna hold you no more. I've enjoyed my time. Hopefully, we
Uh,
can do this
I
again later. You
Whenever
know,
you want, man, I'm
yes, sir.
available.
Yes,
And
sir.
I appreciate you reaching out to me. And Yeah, definitely. Let's do this again. It was
Yes,
pretty
sir.
cool.
Shout out your business, your real estate.
Yeah, my name is David Diaz, Main Event Real Estate Group. I'm broker owner of the company. Well, I can't say broker owner, but I am the owner of the company. Yeah, we are at 7151 West Grand Avenue. If you need to reach out to me, it's 773-681-1263 or David at maineventrealestate.com.
Yes, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the podcast. And always remember the mission statement when you're striving for greatness. God never puts you in the driver's seat if it's taken. We are done here.